The two most beautiful words in real estate are cash flow. But the issue with cash flow is if you are in what we would call an appreciation market, right? Phoenix, San Diego, Austin, Texas, Seattle, some of these areas where the price point of properties are so big and so high that it really doesn't make sense to own a lot of rentals until you kind of change the
two
strategy.
magic words, pad and split.
Yeah, until we're talking about something called CoLiving.
CoLiving.
Right?
Yes.
Which is a whole different genre or pillar of real estate,
yes,
we can say.
Yes. It's an emerging asset class, and co-living, rent by room, shared housing, this allows investors to cash flow even with today's interest rates.
So welcome to the podcast.
Thank
Ellis
you for
Tran,
having me. Thank you.
With Padsplit.
Yes.
Okay. So co-living.
Mm-hmm.
This is, it's not just renting out to one family for a long-term lease.
Mm-mm.
That's just kind of goes up a little bit, maybe 3 or 5% each year,
yes.
right? This is getting way more monthly income out of the same property.
Yes.
And so how does that happen?
Simple math.
Yep.
The common areas usually will convert to more bedrooms.
Okay.
So you have, common area, 2 walls. Usually there's a window and HVAC. You put up another 2 walls and a door. That becomes a fully flushed room. Duplicate that process throughout the property. In a typical 2,000 square foot single family home, you can usually get 7 to 8 rooms, depending on the layout, depending on the square footage. And that's what we're seeing right now in Arizona. We have over 1,000 rooms.
1,000 rooms or 1,000 houses?
Rooms across
Okay.
158 properties.
And that's how you look at it. You don't look at it as, because we talk in real estate about doors.
Yeah.
How many doors do you have?
Yeah.
Well, if you own a 20 unit apartment complex, you have 20 doors.
Right.
You own 5 houses, you have 5 doors.
Yeah.
You do it by room.
Yeah, that's the metric we use as a company.
Interesting.
Yeah,
That's a really cool reframing.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. We just crossed 20,000 portfolio-wide and across, 22 plus cities in the U.S. We have aggressive plans to grow, and it's happening.
And of those 20,000 rooms, do you know about how many doors that would be?
The average pad split has about 7.
Okay, got it.
What does that come out to?
So you're like
3,000 or
3,000.
so?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3,000 properties. I launched the market here in Arizona 2.5 years ago, and it's been great so far. Lots of investors. They're the earlier adopters. They're starting to scale their portfolios pretty aggressively with us. We're starting to attract the attention of potential new builders. Multifamily, even pad splits, is on the horizon in the next few months. And if you like a feel-good social entrepreneurship type of investment, I think this is a great option.
Social entrepreneur. Unpack that a little
Yes. I mean, we're in the affordable housing space.
bit. Okay.
So, we often get compared to Airbnb because we're still using that same single family. Unlike Airbnb, where they earmark the property for vacationers, we're taking that same property, densifying it, and then putting it out on our website, which is a two-sided marketplace where investors can list their properties, and then these renters can also go to that same website to find them. So we're providing affordable housing to the people that need it.
So our audience are wholesalers, flippers that are really, really good at active income, right?
Yes.
At building that,
Yes.
Going out, finding unbelievable opportunities. And then the first step is really just to get proof of concept, right? You do a deal.
Yeah.
Second is do consistent deals to where you can fire your boss, right? Next step is do so many consistent deals you can fire yourself, right?
Yeah.
And then you're off and running, and then we're really looking at building long-term assets. What do you do with the cash left over from your lifestyle to be able to, really build long-term wealth?
Yeah.
Because the wholesaling will get you rich, but owning assets gets you wealthy.
Yes.
Right? And so there's a transition that you see with wholesalers that, they start really building that momentum up, start building up that bank account, and then they start cherry picking the deals that they're looking for. there's only certain properties that really qualify for co-living, right? Because there are deed restrictions that could prevent some properties from not being able to do co-living.
Clarify which part of the deed restrictions?
Well, a deed restriction that says, only 3 people that are not from the same house, the same family can live in this property.
Yeah.
Or a certain amount of people can actually live inside of this property based on the density for the utilities, parking. Really, those are the 2 main ones. And probably some school. Because, property taxes pay for all the 6 S's, right? Security, schools, spaces, streets, services, and something else, sewer. And so because of that, this one rental property is getting, only a certain amount of tax, property tax to pay for those things. But if there's more people, there's more density, that could be an issue for the city.
This is the first time I've heard of that, actually.
Yeah.
But what I do know is, certain cities have a maximum number of unrelated occupants allowed in a single-family property.
Right.
We've kind of structured the host agreement and the member agreement to circumvent that.
Okay.
For lack of a better word.
Sure.
So you as a host, you would have an LLC for the property. You would rent the property out to Padsplit's LLC. Legally speaking, I believe an LLC is one person, one entity. So technically, you're renting it out to one person. But on top of that, we are finding members to move in, and they're signing the same membership agreement. So in this structure, in our definition of it, everybody is related under that membership agreement.
Got it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and this is the 4th co-living company I've worked for, and the previous 3 have used the same structure. So from I'm seeing, it's industry
there's
standard.
Obviously there's a affordable housing shortage.
Yes.
And so I think that the cities, the states, the towns, whatever, are going to play ball with this because
they're going to have to. Yeah.
They want people to have somewhere to live and be able to afford it.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly right. Yeah. There have been certain cases in other states. Denver and Seattle, I think, opened up the doors for co-living. They've got rid of that restriction. And we're starting to see that. I think Arkansas, of all states, is doing that as well. So I think Texas, I believe Dallas, Texas as well. So the dominoes are falling kind of month over month that we're seeing. It's exciting because right now it's kind of early Airbnb days. There's a group of investors that are hesitant because it's gray, technically. So if we can eventually work with the different cities to maybe get, a host permit like Airbnb does, I think that would be great to help solve the workforce housing shortage, the affordability issue that's going on.
Sure.
It's exciting to see because we get a lot of feedback from the people living there that this is a pretty high quality living situation than they're used to regularly. For around $900 a month right now in Arizona, that gets you a private room, fully furnished. All the utilities are included. Wi-Fi is included. Cleaning of the common area at least once a month. The savvier hosts now, they're getting cleaning done twice a month even. No deposit and no security. No credit check.
Well, listen, this is happening next door, Ellis. So next door, it's a big commercial building.
Are they converting
and we
it?
see it converting into like the WeWork type of model, right? Into, here's the common area. You get your private office if you want that.
Yeah.
And so let's use the same piece of real estate. Let's just, get more utility out of it, essentially.
Exactly right. I get some hosts who are a little bit hesitant on converting the common areas.
Sure.
Understandably so, but we've been at this so much to where we tell investors, you can utilize that underutilized space, turn it into an income-producing space, but also remove a potential conflict area.
Yeah.
So in a co-living space, that's where the conflict happens, in the common areas.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, and look at, assisted living.
Yeah.
Again, this is crazy, but next door to my home that I live in is my grandma lives there.
Oh, wow.
And it's a really nice assisted living place that has... But it was a weird layout, right? It was a weird layout if you were going to buy it to live in there, right? But it was perfect for assisted living because it had, I think it's got 7 or 8 bedrooms.
Oh, wow.
And they put some additions onto it years and years ago, decades ago. Yeah. So there's some kind of social areas, but not much.
Yeah.
They're not ever in there, typically. Yeah. Sometimes when they just want to get out of their room, they're in there. But for the most part, they're either going for a walk outside or being in their room.
Yeah. A lot of the time, we have people that are... we're serving the essentially the essential workers that serve the community. So
Sure.
these are people that, make minimum wage or close to it. They can't afford to live on their own. And even for those who make a little bit more, they don't want to spend half of their disposable income on housing alone.
Mm-hmm.
So they're busy with schoolwork. Maybe they have a job or two, and they just want a place to lay their head down after they're done with the day. And they really just hang out in their rooms. I get some feedback from our hosts that say when they do visit the property, it's quiet, it's clean, and people are just doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and essential workers, people don't realize this, especially in like big major cities
Yeah.
where it's super expensive to live, like downtown.
Yes.
Who do you think cleans everything
Exactly
and fixes
right.
everything
Exactly
and
right.
builds everything
Yes.
and maintain like people that are typically, maybe they're on a salary, but it's a low salary or it's an hourly wage.
Yeah.
And there's no way that they can afford to be on a train for hours at a time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To get to and fro. But that's essentially what happens.
Yeah.
And then you get something like this where for $900 you can live closer to where
Exactly
where your work is.
Exactly right.
And you're really not spending much time in there besides hanging out, sleeping.
Yeah.
Maybe, fooling around on TikTok or
Yeah,
social media.
Sure.
And then going to bed, getting up and rock and rolling.
Yeah, exactly right. We like our properties to be close to public transit as well.
Sure.
Only about half of our renters have cars, so they do utilize bus stops and light rails and all that. So it's got to be the right property, obviously, and we have a pretty tried and true buy box at this point. Non-HOA, usually Class C neighborhood, maybe C+, maybe B-. The higher up you go, the more likely your neighbors will complain, unsurprisingly. We like properties close to public transit and properties that have ample parking. Parking is usually what gets neighbors to complain, and we don't want that for investors out there.
That's what I was going to ask you.
Yeah, so for that reason, corner lots usually work best.
Sure.
Because you have that whole side street next to that corner lot property, or if you have a property across the street from a corner lot property, you can still utilize that same parking.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that's what I was going to ask you is about the parking.
Yeah.
Because I can see that being a real issue
Mm-hmm.
if you've got, 7 people and they
Yeah.
all have cars
Yeah.
in a, 2 or maybe 4 car driveway,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Are people converting garages too?
We have some. Yeah, some people convert garages because once a property goes online, the garage essentially is useless space at that
Who's
point.
who gets that spot?
Yeah, it's hard to figure
People are
out.
gonna park behind you.
Yeah, there's access issues, so a lot of investors will convert that area to more rooms. A typical 2-car garage can probably get you 2 rooms, a full bathroom, maybe enough space for 2 stackables.
Yeah.
So it's pretty well utilized space.
Well, listen, I think if you can pick the right areas and the cities aren't going to fight you on it.
Yeah.
I think it's a fantastic opportunity for investors out there
It's-
to really do something special. The nice thing that you guys, because in my head I'm like, oh my gosh, Ellis, this seems like a whole bunch of work. Like how long are these memberships that you're selling? The lease or
Yeah,
whatever.
2 options. By default, the first option is 12 weeks at a minimum.
Okay.
After that, it's week to week. The other option is for them to pay, for the members, the renters, to pay a one-time flexibility fee. That allows them to go week to week after the initial 31-day commitment. But
Okay.
in Arizona, we're averaging 7 to 8 months right now.
7 to 8 months.
Yeah,
And
so-
then people move.
Yeah. We have people that have stayed a year or longer, but a lot of people use this as kind of like a transitionary housing solution.
It's like a short-term, long-term rental.
Medium
term. Come on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, if they're having a good experience, and this mainly comes from the lack of conflict in the property, if it's priced well, if the property is close to where they work, and barring any major life change, they're going to stay long term.
Right.
Yeah.
So you say, the C. I wrote it down. C or C plus neighborhoods are the
Yes,
best. So
yes.
let's take Phoenix for example. Let's say the median. I think the median sale price right now is $455.
Mm-hmm.
So what would be like a C plus? Totally fixed up, looking good. What is it right there at the median sale price? Is it
Probably
below?
a little bit lower. Yeah, I have an investor who one of my hosts who I'm actually going to be partnering with for my first pad split this year. He's buying right off of the MLS, around $400,000. He's putting in maybe like a 4.2, 4.3. The more bathrooms, the better.
Sure.
He's turning that into 8 bedrooms at least and adding a ton of bathrooms, like 8.5s, 8.6s. He's with that $400,000 purchase price, his PITI is probably about 24, 25 or so, a month. And then with 8 or 9 bedrooms, with operating the property himself, he's able to net 2.2, 2.3K a month on each property. I've met him a year and a half ago. He's got 4 up and running now. 5 and 6 are in the works. He's looking to scale this bad boy.
No, I bet he is.
Yeah, he's a happy camper.
So why is he managing it himself?
He used to run a very successful group home business. He had 150 kids. He likes that aspect of that social entrepreneurship. He likes the action. He likes to help people. He knows every single one of his members. He helps them move, and he's got their best interests in mind. I'm really impressed with him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's definitely a heart to that when you're finding the people that you're putting in your own properties, or at least broadcasting that you have the opportunity to put people into those properties.
So we'll send hosts people who have passed background checks, income checks that we run. But on top of that, I recommend hosts to turn off auto approve in their account. This allows them to get in touch with the incoming applicant within the first 24 hours, talk to them, build that relationship with them, because that will go a long way in kind of culture building in the property. And there's that aspect of co-living that's really important. You want a good group of people there who are self-sufficient, who understand how to mediate conflicts amongst themselves, and who respect the property and just don't cause any issues.
Sure.
I had my biggest host at the time had 60 bedrooms, self-managing. She said it took her 3 to 5 hours of work a week.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's amazing.
Well, some people like the action.
Some do. Some
people like,
but
it's like Zach Keeps. Zach Keeps locally here. He has like a bazillion properties, like 300 properties, and he's his own property manager. His phone goes off all day long. All day long he's going off.
He's on the hunt for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, to find a property.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I spoke to him last week. I was at a mastermind with him recently.
Sure.
But yeah, this isn't, if you don't have experience in general property management or Airbnb, and you get into co-living property management, there's a steep learning curve.
Well, I always say, if you want a really, really great rental property, you want your PITI, basically your monthly payment for principal, interest, taxes, insurance, what you're paying the bank for a loan to be about 60% or lower of what you can get in rents. In Arizona, it's impossible.
Right.
With current interest rates and the current pricing, they just don't they don't hit.
Yeah.
They don't cross
the max doesn't math anymore. Yeah.
And so. But with this, it does.
Yeah, it does.
Because this, you're getting double the rents.
Yeah, at $900 a room with 8 rooms, that's $7,200 gross. The numbers just look good.
But it costs a little bit to split up living rooms and living space. So what are you seeing there for the cost per square footage?
It depends. I was looking for a property. It was a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, already renovated, and the conversions were pretty straightforward. The common areas already had that window, already had the HVAC, and you're really just putting up 2 more doors and a wall, times 4 in the property. The general contractor that works with us, he said $22K. So if it's an easy room conversion, probably about $5K.
Sure.
But if you need to, pop in a window or extend the vent, probably a little bit more. Garage conversions will be a little bit more because of the framing and all the work that needs to be done.
Do the rooms have to have a window?
Yes. Yeah.
Got it.
Internal egress, external egress, at least 2 outlets, technically at least 80 square feet, and that's just HUD's standards. We don't like that, though. You'll probably get a lower quality tenant with that because of the lower pricing of those rooms. You'll probably get more turnover. So anything, I'd say
80 square feet?
Yeah, it's tiny.
Yeah, 10 by 8. That's tough.
So anything 100 and above works a lot better, but I'm seeing some rooms 120, 130, 140 square feet.
Are people putting closets in them, or are they buying like the
some
IKEA?
Are. Yeah. Yeah, the standing armoires.
Yeah.
Some are putting closets, some are doing that. So we require at least a standing armoire, if not a closet.
And these are fully furnished?
Fully furnished. So we'll send the exact list of furniture pieces with links to purchase to the investor. It's right off of Amazon. It's about $800 to furnish a property based off of what we recommend.
How much?
$800.
$800 to furnish a whole property?
1 room.
Oh, I was going to say.
1 room.
Each room.
Each room. Yeah.
Got it. And so, are you seeing a lot of people converting their Airbnbs to this?
Yes.
I bet.
Yeah, it's
the same mentality, I feel.
Yeah. It's the Airbnb hosts do well because they have that hospitality mindset when it comes to servicing the property. Property's already furnished, so in some cases it's a straight transfer because everything's.
I feel like they'd be way happier.
Yeah.
Especially if they bought, before interest rates went bananas in 22.
Exactly right.
If they have these, and you see, a lot of cities cracking down on Airbnbs
Yep.
because of the complaints, because a lot of people buy these properties in really nice neighborhoods.
Mhm.
But maybe it'd be tougher to convert them. Maybe sell the Airbnbs in the good neighborhoods
Yeah.
and go
Transfer
go
1031.
1031 it. Yeah.
Exactly. I mean, we had, with that biggest host I told you about with the 60 rooms, they actually got into Padsplit because they had 2 underperforming South Scottsdale Airbnbs.
Sure.
Really nice properties, decked out with the murals and hot tubs and mini golf and nice interiors. They converted them from 4 2.5s to 6 2.5s. So they added 2 rooms in each. Within onboarding it, one of them got filled in 5 days, the other in 7 days. They were our first Scottsdale properties. And they're getting probably at least 20% more compared to the average rate because their properties are nicer.
What about laundry?
Laundry, just regular washer dryers.
Not putting in like the apartment style,
Coin
use some
operated.
quarters.
No, we like to maintain that home feel. I'd say one set is good for, I don't know, 5 or 6 people.
Right.
Once you get 7, 8, 9 people, I'd throw in a second set to be.
Have to.
Yeah. The name of the game with PadSplit and co-living generally is to reduce conflict as much as you can.
Sure.
And that happens in the shared spaces and the shared appliances. So having a good bedroom to bathroom ratio is vital. Sticking mini fridges into the rooms will help alleviate conflict around the fridge.
Nice.
Putting full-size
sure.
mirrors in the rooms helps decongest the bathrooms, and then multiple washers will help. Will help with that as well.
Yeah. And I wouldn't assume a lot of people are like cooking every night in there.
Not so much. Yeah, I mean, a lot of this renter type, they might not have the best financial
It's
habits.
like dorms.
A little bit. Yeah, a lot of people do takeout or microwavable meals. So
Yeah.
you might get some people that actually utilize the kitchen, but I mean, the biggest pad split I have had here, they kind of decided to self-manage. It was 11 bedrooms, just a single kitchen. No issues with kitchen. Yeah.
No, yeah. This is giving me big time dorm vibes because I
Yeah.
had a mini fridge
Yeah.
in college.
Yeah.
I had a microwave
Yeah.
in college.
Yeah.
There was no kitchen
Yeah.
in the dorm.
Sure.
There
Sure.
was a shared bathroom at the end of the hall.
Yeah.
It was the
It's-
greatest time of my life.
It's similar.
It
It's
was
similar,
awesome.
but the difference is people are,
Not
they're-
really, but
yeah,
yeah, I
they're,
mean,
they're
it was
working
awesome.
adults, and yeah, it's just things are unaffordable right now.
Right.
Yeah, I get a lot of hosts say like, I wouldn't live in a situation like that, but it's not that
Yeah,
they
but I'll tell
want
you-
to; they need to.
I'll tell you what, I think that, more and more people are being business owners themselves.
Yeah.
There's always that hustle season where you got
Yeah.
to keep costs really low.
Yeah.
And instead of, moving in with family or moving into the basement or, do the co-living with your
Yeah,
parents,
yeah.
for less than $1,000, you can live on your own.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be in a converted living room,
Yeah.
but you got your
You got
mini
everything you
fridge
need.
and your,
You
and your
got
ramen.
Yeah, you got everything you need.
And you just keep your profitability super high.
Yeah.
I can see that a lot. Yeah.
I'm starting to see an uptick in owner-occupied pad splits.
Sure.
So people that are house hacking, but house hacking on
Awesome.
steroids by converting more of the common areas to more rooms, and while living in the property with 4, 5, 6 other roommates, people are doing what they got to do.
I read years ago, probably 20 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I read autobiography or biography, I don't remember, on Arnold Schwarzenegger. And he, bodybuilding wasn't paying money.
Yeah.
And his acting
Yeah.
he was in these bit roles, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
He made all his money buying fourplexes.
Oh wow, I think I heard about
In
this actually.
Venice
early
area
on,
or,
yeah.
in the LA area.
Yeah.
I'm not too familiar with it, but he would buy one and then rent it out to his
Yeah.
bodybuilder
Yeah,
buddies, the
yeah,
other ones,
yeah.
and would even share, do it in his own unit,
Yeah,
He'd have
yeah.
like 2 bedrooms. He'd put his buddy in
Yeah.
one. He'd pay for it, and so he would buy all those, and then he just kept buying them and buying them and buying them. And he actually, I think he became a millionaire from real estate before he
Yeah.
ever did from anything else,
Wow,
which is
good for
interesting.
him.
Yeah.
That's a great segue into the potential multifamily pad splits that are coming up.
Yeah. Talk to me.
There's a builder owner who builds duplexes, 1,000 square feet on each floor, 3-bedroom, 2 bathrooms with a living area. He's a 50-50 partner in a 6-unit complex of these duplexes. He's going live with 1 duplex, so 8 rooms. That's going to go live this week probably. He's got another one that's going to go live probably in end of the month. But he's also constructing a 24-unit complex of these duplexes. He's going to do 96 pad split rooms on this project.
Awesome.
Which would be here definitely the biggest pad split multifamily property that we have, and I think this could open up the doors for multi-family
96?
padsplit. Yeah, 96.
I mean, that's like 90 grand a month.
Yeah.
How big is this project?
24 units of these duplexes. So we're talking 24,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Trying to think what the payment on it would be.
Yeah, I wonder what the
Trying
math
to work
is.
it out.
Yeah, I mean, I told him the average prices, which is about, 850 on average or so for a shared bathroom in Arizona. He seemed to be flexible with pricing, so I think he'll do well even if he drops that pricing a little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited for that.
That's cool. And then, so what is padsplit then? Why don't people just go and just do this themselves? Is it you guys have the paperwork? You guys have the website? You guys will manage it? Like, what is padsplit?
Yeah, great question. We're like Airbnb. We're the tech platform.
Really?
Yeah, so we're a software company at the end of the day. But on top of what Airbnb provides, we screen everybody that comes in. So we'll do background checks, income checks. We handle collections on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So, collections times 7 or 8 or 9 can be burdensome.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we've created a vendor network in each of the markets that we're in. That includes wholesalers, realtors, general contractors, people that help furnish, property managers, lenders, vendors in the space that are friendly with CoLiving, who can help the first-timer investor get started or help a seasoned investor get started as well.
Awesome. You think padsplit is going to be as big as Airbnb?
I think so.
Yeah.
So we just...
I don't see why it wouldn't.
Yeah, we just hired Cliff Johnson. He's the founder or ex-founder of Vacasa.
Okay.
As the president of padsplit, and I'm hearing 2027 we go public. We'll see. Knock on wood.
Awesome.
This is my 4th co-living company, so I haven't hit a unicorn yet. We'll see.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it just makes sense. I mean, if you have the platform to be able to get people into these properties, which I assume, the renters are going to hear padsplit.
Yeah.
And if it does go public, then you get all the marketing dollars, and now everybody knows about it. They download it, and now you've got, it becomes more mainstream.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you get people now?
Just throw money at online ads.
Really?
Yeah, that's all we do.
But like Facebook?
Facebook, Google, all the big social media websites. We experimented with some like bus ads and laundromat ads, but that's a little bit more intensive being a remote company that we are.
Sure.
In Atlanta, that's where we started as a company. We just broke, I think, 8,000 rooms there. At that point, I think renters know, they understand that padsplit is a brand there. They kind of go to padsplit as an affordable housing provider. I think that's happening in markets where we crossed the 1,000-unit threshold, which is a milestone that we just passed here in Arizona. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we're at 90% occupied, and things are going well for both sides, the renters and the investors.
Well, you think about it. I mean, when before you can buy your own house and you have family and kids and all this other stuff, you're trying to like, hey, let's live with the people I work with, or the people that I grew up with, or my buddies, or whatever else. Let's just share a place. Let's get some apartment. Let's rent a house. Yeah. That type of thing. Sometimes they don't pay their rent, right? Yeah. Sometimes you have conflict with like your homies.
Yeah.
And so, man, this is going to be huge, I think. And I think it's going to be huge for our audience. Our audience that goes out and finds the absolute best deals. I mean, if you're talking about a BRRRR strategy, is there a way to show the banks, hey, listen, this is the strategy that I'm going to use. This is how much rent we're going to use based on this padsplits analysis. Yeah. And they can use that to be able to do like a, buy it, renovate it.
Yes.
Fill it up and then refinance?
Yes. So the host I told you I'm partnering with, he's actually about to refinance his first padsplit property. He got it at $410. Mm-hmm. He put $70K into the renovations, which was high because it was his first one, but now he's down to like $35, $40. Mm-hmm. It appraised at $585. So he's going to take every single dollar out of that property, and it's still going to cash flow, I don't know, $2,000. Right. It's insane.
And go do it again.
Yeah.
And the banks love it.
Yeah, exactly. He's got a strategy that's tried and true, so that he's running with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
C to C plus neighborhoods. That's really smart.
C to C plus.
Because once you get higher than that, people complain.
Yes.
And then it just turns into you're just always on your back foot fighting.
Yeah, with the neighbors, or if they complain to the city, you'll get a letter from the city. when that happens, you can loop in our legal team to kind of help advise on how to apply.
Mm-hmm.
We've had maybe, I don't know, just a couple in the last 2.5 years, and they've all been mostly permitting issues.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Got it.
Yeah.
And the permitting issues of not getting permits to make it into,
Yeah,
like,
to renovate.
make more bedrooms and bathrooms.
Exactly.
You should probably get that permit.
Exactly. Yeah, that's our official recommendation. Get permitted.
For sure.
Yes.
I mean, listen, you want to put a wall up, fine. If you're moving plumbing and electrical and putting bathrooms
Yeah.
in and attaching to the sewer, you better have that permitted.
Yeah.
Or you're going to have some problems.
Yeah. From what I know, and you correct me if I'm wrong, if you're adding walls that aren't load-bearing, I don't think they technically need to be permitted.
I mean, listen, they want you to permit everything.
Yeah.
They probably want you to permit paint color.
Yeah.
On the interior walls. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
who knows? But
Yeah.
I could also see that, like, and we were talking about here in Arizona because of the explosive growth, master plan communities and HOAs.
Yeah.
How are HOAs? You know,
We only have a few.
right.
Out of the 158 properties, only a few are in HOAs.
So no HOAs.
Mm-mm.
C to C plus. So you're probably, let's call it, I'd probably call it 50 grand off your median sale price neighborhoods.
Mhm.
Once it's fixed up is probably the sweet spot.
Yep.
Corner lots are dope.
Yep.
More bathrooms
Yep.
is better.
Yep.
And close to public transport.
Yes. And close. I mean, if you're close to public transit, you're probably close to work centers by default. We're talking,
Sure.
malls, warehouses, universities with a bunch of restaurants or bars nearby, supermarkets, type like that.
What
Stuff
about
like
military?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Yeah. I think there is a property close to the Luke Air Force Base. If you can, military or not, if you can find a partnership with any institution that needs to provide housing for their workers or their group, that's money.
Yep.
You build a house, you fill them, you're good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
And so if I want to take my rentals, you guys don't do any of the construction. You just go, hey, listen, here's people you should reach out to.
Yeah,
you
not
handle it?
in-house, not in-house, but we have a vendor network that
Okay.
includes the general contractors.
So do you go, hey, I suggest you do this to this property?
The general contractor will.
And they know what they're talking about
Yeah.
when it comes to the
Yes.
padsplit.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you get the contractor, they go in, they go, this is what I would do.
Yep.
Here's the budget. You do it.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've got a house, and you suggest what to buy for staging, or for not staging, but literally
Yeah.
for all of the furniture.
Yep.
So now you've got all the furniture in there. You got a beautiful house. You got all these bedrooms, and then what? You just press a button on an app, and it
get
starts
some-
filling up, and you guys take it from there.
Get
or
a
what?
photographer in.
Right.
Well, even taking a step back, if you use your own general contractors, no problem. We'll send you the renovation guides.
Yeah.
For you to share with them. Buy the furniture, get it cleaned, get it staged, get it photographed. Once you have everything all set up, create the listing on our website. You submit the listing. Within 24 hours, we go live. And that's when we find people to move in.
And you guys do all the paperwork?
We'll do all the paperwork.
And if somebody needs to get out?
Depending on the reason, our team can help.
Right.
Yeah. So, it's a pretty quick process too. We're averaging on under 5 days for the first room to be booked, about a month to get it 80% occupied. People just need housing.
Sure.
That's all it is.
And if people need to get out, it's not like a full-blown eviction?
Depending. So there's the ability to issue a notice to vacate within the product itself. In Arizona, I believe it's 5 days, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And depending on the reason, if it needs to be escalated, the host can get in touch with our support team to request a membership termination. If granted, they should move out within 48 hours. But depending on how long the member has stayed, I think it's 30 days where it grants them tenancy. If they don't move out or comply, essentially, they're squatters, so you can actually go through that formal eviction process.
Sure.
Yeah, but it happens, but it happens rarely. In the last 2.5 years, across 2,000 people we've housed, maybe 5.
Yeah.
Yeah. The levers we have in place work.
It is a risk.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But
a risk.
anytime you...
Anytime
you're in real estate and
yeah.
you're renting property, it's a
Sure,
risk.
yeah, sure. You have to weigh the risks versus your gain.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ellis, just go to padsplit.com?
If you want to find out more information, shoot me an email.
Awesome.
Ellis@padsplit.com, ELLIS@padsplit.com. There's a Facebook group here locally, Padsplit Phoenix. Yeah, get in touch. I can help you with your property in Arizona or the 20 or so different cities in the U.S.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Ellis, thanks for being on here. This is going to be real exciting to see.
Yeah.
As long as the cities and the areas are all about it, and you're not getting too beat up by.
Yeah.
You're not trying to go into areas that have strict HOA, and you're not trying to go into areas that are, really luxury.
Yeah. We stay away.
I think it's a sweet
intentionally.
spot.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's incredible.
I Googled this. I get 2 results. I Google affordable housing unit shortage in Arizona. The big number I get is 270,000 units short.
Sure.
The small number is 60,000 units short.
Yeah.
And we only have 1,000 bedrooms right now in Arizona. So,
Got to get more.
got to get more.
Awesome. Well, thanks for being on
Thanks
here.
a lot.
Awesome.